You know, in my business, I see a lot of stuff come through the door. Gold, diamonds, vintage guitars, you name it. But sometimes, the most interesting things are the smallest. A little coin can tell you a huge story. It's a piece of history you can hold right in your hand. And when we talk about coins, some of the most fascinating ones come from places you might not expect. I'm talking about Kuwait. Most people think of oil when they hear Kuwait, but I think of something else. Silver. The story of Kuwait's silver coins is a story about a nation being born, about tradition meeting the modern world, and about how a tiny piece of metal can become incredibly valuable. For an American collector, Kuwaiti coins are like a hidden treasure map. They aren't something you see every day. Unlike Morgan silver dollars, which are everywhere, finding an old Kuwaiti silver coin is a real challenge. That rarity is what gets a collector's heart pumping. These coins were made for a very short time, and many didn't survive. They were melted down, lost, or just worn out from being used every day. They tell a story of a small country on the Arabian Gulf that grew into a major player on the world stage. It's a story of independence, wealth, and incredible change, all stamped into a piece of silver. Think about it. A coin passes through thousands of hands. It could have been used by a pearl diver to buy bread for his family, or by a merchant in a bustling souk, or maybe it was saved by a child in a little clay jar. Every scratch and mark on its surface is part of its journey. When you're dealing with Kuwaiti silver, you're not just looking at its silver content, you're looking at the birth of a modern nation. These coins were minted right around the time Kuwait gained its full independence. They represent a moment of great pride and hope for the future, and that's something you can't put a price on. So, let's take a trip back in time. We're going to explore the complete history of Kuwait's silver coins. We'll look at where they came from, why they were made, and what makes them so special. I'll tell you which ones are the real prizes, the ones that collectors will pay big money for. We'll uncover some interesting stories and connect these coins to major world events. By the end, you'll see why I get so excited when a piece of Kuwaiti silver walks into my shop. It's more than just money. It's a tangible piece of a fascinating story that's just waiting to be told. Before Kuwait had its own official money, things were complicated. Imagine going to a store where they accept 5 or 6 different types of cash. That's what it was like in Kuwait for a long time. Because of its location as a major trading port on the Gulf, all sorts of coins from other countries were used. The most common and trusted coin was the Maria Theresa thaler. This was a big, beautiful silver coin from Austria that was popular all over the Middle East. It was like the US dollar of its day. Everyone knew it and trusted its silver content. People used it for big deals, like buying a boat or a piece of land. But for smaller, everyday purchases, the Maria Theresa thaler was too valuable. So, for buying food or spices in the market, people used another coin, the Indian rupee. Back then, Kuwait had a special relationship with Great Britain, which also ruled India. The Indian rupee, and its smaller coins called annas, became the day-to-day currency. The British Indian government even printed special Gulf rupees just for use in the Gulf states, including Kuwait. These looked just like regular rupees but were meant to be used only in this region. This system worked, but it wasn't ideal. It meant Kuwait's economy was tied to another country's money. The idea of Kuwait having its own money wasn't new. In 1886, the ruler of Kuwait, Sheikh Abdullah II al-Sabah, tried to make a local coin. It was a simple hand-struck copper coin, but it was a tough sell. People were so used to the Indian rupee and the thaler that they didn't trust this new local money. Not many were made, and the project was quickly abandoned. Today, those first experimental coins are incredibly rare. If you ever find one, you've got something seriously special. It represents the very first attempt by Kuwait to create its own monetary identity, a dream that wouldn't become a reality for another 75 years. So you had this mix of currencies floating around. You had the big silver thaler for major transactions, the Indian rupee for daily business, and even some Persian and Ottoman coins thrown into the mix. It was a confusing system that showed Kuwait was a crossroads of trade, but also that it wasn't yet in full control of its own destiny. As the 20th century moved on, and the discovery of oil started to change everything, the leaders of Kuwait knew something had to be done. To be a truly independent and modern nation, Kuwait needed its own money, its own symbol of sovereignty. The stage was set for a massive change. The big moment came in 1960. Kuwait was on the path to full independence from Great Britain, and a new sense of national pride was in the air. The ruler, Sheikh Abdullah al-Salim al-Sabah, was a visionary leader. He's often called the father of modern Kuwait. He knew that a country needed its own symbols, like a flag, a national anthem, and its own currency. On October 19, 1960, the Kuwaiti currency law was issued. This was the official act that created a brand new currency, the Kuwaiti dinar. The name dinar itself has ancient roots, coming from the Roman silver coin, the denarius. This was a powerful choice, linking Kuwait's modern currency to a long history of trade and commerce. The new Kuwaiti dinar was set to replace the Indian Gulf rupee at a 1-to-1 rate. This made the changeover simple for everyone. The government gave people a specific period to exchange their old rupees for the new dinars. The plan was brilliant. The new coins and banknotes were revealed to the public on April 1, 1961. This was a huge event. For the first time, Kuwaitis had money that was truly their own. The coins featured a design that was both simple and elegant. On one side was a boom, a traditional wooden sailing ship that was the symbol of Kuwait's long history as a seafaring and trading nation. The first series of coins included several denominations. Media Group, full set of 1961 Kuwaiti coins arranged by denomination. Close-up of all denominations of first series Kuwaiti coins. Stocks distribute equally, 1, 5, 10, 20, 50, and 100 files. 100 fils make 1 dinar. While the smaller coins were made of bronze and nickel brass, the two highest denominations, the 50 and 100 fils, were struck in silver. This decision to use silver was very important. It wasn't just about tradition, it was a statement. Using a precious metal showed the world that the new Kuwaiti dinar was a strong and stable currency, backed by real value. It gave people confidence in their new money, both at home and abroad. The coins were minted at the British Royal Mint in London, known for its high quality. This first issue of Kuwaiti coins is incredibly significant for collectors. They were only minted for a few years with this specific design and silver content. This was a period of massive transformation for Kuwait. Just 2 months after the currency was launched, on June 19, 1961, Kuwait officially became a fully independent country. These silver coins were there to witness it all. They were in the pockets of the people celebrating in the streets. They represent that exact moment of transition from a British protectorate to a sovereign modern nation, fueled by the promise of oil wealth, but still holding on to its ancient trading heritage. Let's get the magnifying glass out and look closer at these first silver coins. They are the stars of the show for any collector of Kuwaiti money. We're talking about the 50 fils and the 100 fils coins, first minted in 1961. These weren't just pocket change, they were little pieces of national art. The 50 fils coin was a decent size, but the 100 fils was the real heavyweight of the series. It was the largest coin and contained the most silver. Both coins were struck in 75% silver, which was a pretty high standard for circulating coins at the time. This high silver content made them feel substantial and valuable in your hand. The design was the same for both. On the front, or obverse, you have that beautiful boom sailing ship I mentioned. It's not just a generic boat, it's a very specific type of dhow that was the backbone of Kuwait's economy for centuries, used for pearl diving and long-distance trade. Below the ship, you see the year of minting in both the Islamic, or Hijri, and Western, or Gregorian calendars. This shows a respect for both tradition and the modern world. The entire image is encircled by the words, State of Kuwait, written in both Arabic and English, another nod to Kuwait's international role. Flip the coin over to the reverse, and the design is clean and clear. In the center, you have the value, 50 or 100, written in large Arabic numerals. Below that, the word fils is written in Arabic script. The value is framed by a simple circular design, keeping the focus on the denomination. There's no portrait of the ruler on the coin. This was a deliberate choice, following Islamic tradition that often avoids depicting human figures on currency. The focus is on the nation itself, represented by the ship and the name Kuwait. It's a very proud and confident design. These silver coins were intended for everyday use. The 100 fils was roughly equivalent to 1 Indian rupee, so it was a significant amount of money. You could buy a good meal with it, but because they were made of silver, they had an interesting fate. They were only produced for a few years, from 1961 until about 1964. As the price of silver started to climb on the world market in the mid-1960s, a big problem arose. The value of the silver in the coins was becoming worth more than their face value. This is a classic recipe for disaster when it comes to coinage. So, you have these beautiful silver coins circulating in Kuwait. But trouble was brewing, not in Kuwait, but on the world's commodity markets. The 1960s saw a huge increase in the global price of silver. There were many reasons for this, including industrial demand in countries like the United States, reducing the silver content in their own coins. Suddenly, the 75% silver in Kuwait's 50 and 100 fils coins was worth more as raw metal than as 50 or 100 files. When this happens, people start hoarding. Why spend a coin for 100 fils when you can melt it down and sell the silver for 110 or 120 fils? This is a principle known as Gresham's Law. Bad money drives out good. The good money, the silver coins, disappeared from circulation because people kept them. The bad money, the coins made of cheaper metals, continued to be used for everyday transactions. The Kuwaiti government saw this happening and knew they had to act fast. If all their silver coins vanished, it would create a shortage of change and disrupt the economy. It was a practical problem that required a swift and practical solution. The era of circulating silver coinage in Kuwait was coming to a very abrupt end, much faster than anyone had anticipated. The decision was made to change the composition of the coins. Starting around 1965, the 50 and 100 files coins were no longer struck in silver. Instead, they were made from a cupro-nickel alloy, the same kind of silvery-looking but non-precious metal used for coins in many other countries, including the US dime and quarter after 1964. The design of the boom ship remained the same, so to the casual observer, the new coins looked very similar to the old ones. But they felt lighter, and they didn't have that distinctive shine or sound of real silver. The transition was quick. The silver coins were unofficially and then officially withdrawn from circulation. This short production window is exactly why collectors get so excited. The silver 50 and 100 files coins were only made for about 4 years. A huge number of them were later rounded up and melted down by the government or by private individuals for their silver content. That means the number of surviving examples, especially in good condition, is very low. It's a classic story in numismatics. A coin is made for a short time, its metal becomes valuable, and most of the original mintage disappears forever. This creates the perfect storm of rarity and historical significance that makes a coin a true collectible treasure. So, what makes an American coin collector, thousands of miles away, get interested in Kuwaiti silver? It boils down to a few key things: rarity, history, and the thrill of the hunt. First, as I've said, these coins are genuinely scarce. You can't just go to any coin show and expect to find a whole box of them. You have to search for them. They turn up in old collections, sometimes brought back by oil workers or military personnel who were stationed in the Middle East. Often the person selling them has no idea what they are, which means a savvy collector can sometimes get a great deal. That's the kind of story we love in my shop. The historical connection is also a huge draw. These coins are from the Mad Men era, the early 1960s. For Americans, it was the time of Kennedy, the space race, and classic cars. These coins are a direct link to that same period, but from a completely different part of the world. They represent the birth of a modern, oil-rich nation that would become a major ally of the United States. Owning one is like owning a piece of that global history. It's a tangible artifact from the dawn of Kuwait's independence, a story that became very relevant to Americans, especially after events like the 1990 Gulf War. For the serious collector, condition is everything. Most of these coins saw heavy circulation, so they are often worn, scratched, or cleaned. Finding a mint-state example, a coin that looks like it just left the mint yesterday, is the Holy Grail. A 1962 silver 100 fils in a certified high-grade slab can be worth hundreds of dollars. That's a huge premium over its silver value, which might only be a few bucks. The price is driven entirely by collector demand. And because the supply is so limited, that price has been steadily climbing over the years. It's a great investment for someone who knows what they're looking for. And then there's the story. When a collector shows off their collection, they don't just show the coin, they tell the story behind it. They talk about the boom ship, about Sheikh Abdullah Al Salim, about the switch from the rupee to the dinar, and about the silver melt. The Kuwaiti Silver series has a fantastic story. It's concise, it's dramatic, and it's tied to a specific important moment in time. For an American who loves history and collecting, these coins check all the boxes. They are exotic, rare, historically important, and a beautiful example of numismatic design. The hunt for these coins is a real adventure. Every old coin has a story, and sometimes the stories are more legend than fact, but that's what makes them fun. One of the tales you hear from old-timers in the Kuwaiti markets, or souks, is about the silver coins and the pearl divers. Before oil, pearl diving was the heart of Kuwait's economy. It was a dangerous and difficult life. The story goes that when the new silver coins came out, the divers saw the boom ship on them as a sign of good luck. The boom was the kind of ship that would carry them out to the pearl beds and, with luck, bring them home safely with a valuable haul. So many divers would keep a silver 100 fils coin as a good luck charm. They wouldn't spend it even if they were short on cash. They'd drill a hole in it and wear it on a string around their neck, or sew it into the lining of their clothes. Of course, this damages the coin and makes it less valuable to a collector today. But it adds an incredible layer of human history. When you find a Kuwaiti silver coin with a hole in it, you might not have a perfect specimen, but you might have a piece that went to sea, that shared in the hopes and fears of a pearl diver trying to make a living for his family. Another interesting aspect is how the public reacted to the switch from silver to cupro nickel. People aren't stupid. They knew the new coins weren't real silver. There was a bit of grumbling and suspicion at first. People held on to their old silver coins even more tightly. This created a mini economic boom for money changers in the souk. They would pay a small premium for the silver coins, buying them up from the public and then selling them in bulk to be melted down. It was a race against time to get as much silver as possible before it was all gone. This period also shows the incredible trust people had in the ruler, Sheikh Abdullah. He was so respected that when the government said the new cupro nickel coins had the same purchasing power, people eventually accepted it. His leadership helped ensure a smooth transition and prevented a major crisis of confidence in the currency. It shows that money is not just about the metal it's made of. It's about the trust people have in the authority that issues it. The story of Kuwait's coinage is as much about strong leadership and public trust as it is about the price of silver on the world market. After the short-lived silver era ended in the mid-1960s, Kuwait's coinage settled into a more modern and stable pattern. The cupro nickel 50 and 100 fils coins, with the classic boom ship design, continued to be produced for many years. They became the familiar workhorses of the Kuwaiti economy. The design was so successful and beloved that it remained largely unchanged for decades. This first design series, known as the Abdullah Al-Salim series, is a testament to getting it right the first time. The ship became an iconic symbol of Kuwait, recognized by everyone. The next major change came after the tragic Iraqi invasion in 1990. During the occupation, the Iraqi government tried to force their own currency, the Iraqi dinar, on Kuwait. After Kuwait was liberated in 1991, the country had to essentially rebuild its monetary system. The old currency had been stolen and compromised. So, a new series of banknotes was issued, and with them, a new series of coins. This second official series of coins kept the beloved boom ship design, but was minted with a more modern look and feel. The composition of the coins also changed slightly over the years. Today, if you go to Kuwait, the coins you'll get as change look very similar to the ones from the 1960s. The current coins are the third official series. The 50 and 100 fils coins are now made of steel, plated with brass and nickel, respectively. They are durable, cheap to produce, and functional. The boom ship is still there, sailing proudly on the obverse. This continuity is remarkable. It shows a deep respect for the nation's history and the original vision of the country's founders. The design has survived for over 60 years, through periods of incredible prosperity and immense crisis. While these modern coins are not made of silver and aren't rare, they are part of the same historical thread. They are the direct descendants of those first silver coins of 1961. Kuwait does occasionally issue special commemorative coins, sometimes in silver or gold, to mark important anniversaries or events. These are made for collectors and are not intended for circulation. They are beautiful and valuable, but they are a different category. The true magic for a historian like me lies in those original, circulating silver coins that were used by everyday people during a pivotal moment in their nation's history. So, we've come to the end of our journey. We've seen how Kuwait went from using a mix of foreign money to creating its own beautiful silver coins, only to have them disappear almost as quickly as they arrived. Why should we care about this story today, in 2025? It's because these coins are more than just collector's items. They are artifacts that teach us about economics, national identity, and the unstoppable flow of history. They show how global events, like the rising price of a precious metal, can have a direct impact on the money in people's pockets in a small country thousands of miles away. The legacy of these silver coins is the foundation of the modern Kuwaiti dinar, which has become one of the most stable and valuable currencies in the world. That strength and stability didn't come from nowhere. It was built on the confidence and pride that began with that very first issue of coins. The decision to use silver was a bold statement of intent, a promise of value that the country has lived up to for over 60 years. Those first coins set a standard of quality and seriousness that continues to this day. They are the symbolic anchor of Kuwait's modern economy. For collectors, especially in America, these coins will always hold a special allure. They represent a collecting frontier that isn't saturated. There's still a chance to make a discovery, to find a rare, high-grade coin in an unexpected place. They offer a connection to a part of the world that is often in the news, but not always well understood. Through these coins, a collector can learn about Middle Eastern history, Islamic art traditions, and the economics of oil and precious metals. It's a hobby that makes you smarter, and you can't say that about everything. In the end, it always comes back to the story. When I hold a 1961 Kuwaiti 100 fils coin, I don't just see a piece of silver. I see the boom ship sailing on the Gulf. I see a new nation celebrating its independence. I see a pearl diver's good luck charm. And I see a smart government navigating the tricky waters of the global economy. It's a whole world of history stamped onto a small metal disc. And that's why, in my book, Kuwait's silver coins are priceless. You never know what's going to come through that door, but a piece of history like this is always welcome.